I am here in Tahoe and it is about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm still up because I just moved the van about 10 minutes ago to a quieter spot. The South Lake Tahoe City is not the easiest to find spots to overnight camp. I'm gonna try to go to sleep. Hopefully, nothing happens tonight, and I will see you tomorrow morning. So, this is where we ended up sleeping last night, and it's not too far from Highway 50. Like, I can see it right now, and around 4 or 5 in the morning, I was woken up with a very loud fire truck siren, and the rest of the morning was just sounds of the highway traffic going crazy. This spot ended up working out well, but there's people that live here. There's a house right there, there's a house back there. I was careful not to park in front of anyone's house, but it doesn't mean that people have not noticed me. Anyway, I need to get out of Tahoe. I need to find some dispersed camping. But before we do that, we're gonna do the one thing that makes it worthwhile coming into any city when traveling on the road, which is get some coffee. Hi, can I please get a small decaf latte with almond milk? If you're new here, I'm Holly, and for part of the year, I live and travel in my 2023 ProMaster Stardust. But this winter season honestly made me question everything. I came out here hoping for adventure, freedom, and peace, but instead, I found myself struggling more than I ever expected. So today, as I close out this winter travel season, I want to sit down and have a real conversation about how this season truly went for me and whether this lifestyle might be right for you. So now that the winter season of van life travel is pretty much over, I thought I would reflect about all the things because I'm not gonna lie, my first season of travel during the summer was absolutely amazing. It was exactly the trip I had wanted. Everything went relatively really well. There was some weather challenges with heat and mosquitoes and things like that, but it was all very, very manageable. But this winter, for those of you who watched the first video in this series where I got locked out of the van, if that was any indication of how it went, we know that there was a lot of struggle this winter. The door is jammed. That's the problem. And the driver's side door is the only way you can manually enter the van with the key. I think I just spent the last week stealth camping in cities and boondocking and doing it with the driver's side unlocked the entire time. Oh my goodness. I didn't know where I could go, where it wasn't cold at night and it wasn't raining, and so I just felt really lost. Like, where am I supposed to go? This is the only other road and it is completely flooded. I checked the weather forecast again, and unfortunately the roads still had a lot of closures. There's still a high avalanche risk. A lot of the times I felt like I was just trying to survive, moving from place to place, trying to find a better climate, trying to find something more comfortable for me and Archie. And it just didn't feel as enjoyable as the summer travel season. And it really made me question how I was going to travel seasonally as someone who travels part-time throughout the year for long stretches of time. We decided to come down to Hope Valley, which is like a dispersed camping wilderness area south of Tahoe, and it already feels like we're full into spring. The river is right by the campsite, and it is quiet and beautiful and warm now. I consider myself to be somewhat seasoned as a solo outdoor traveler, but this winter really humbled me. Despite the countless examples online of people weathering harsh winter conditions, sleeping in freezing temperatures, and seemingly thriving in the hot desert sun, I'm simply not built for that at this time in my life. But even after all this, I still want to live a life full of adventure, and I don't want to give up on traveling this way. Because I truly believe that as much as we need and crave certainty in our lives, we also equally need uncertainty and variety. Being able to guess what I did last Tuesday because it looked like every other day I lived that week is not something I feel good about. I want to live a life full of experiences, and in order to do that, I need to step outside my front door and venture into new places. Do I wish that winter went a different way? Of course. But it helps that spring is now in the air, and that marks the end of a travel season that taught me a lot about life on the road and how I can do better next time. I figured because I'm camped in a sunny, dry, beautiful spot, I would take the opportunity to air out my Japanese Shiki futon mattress and to just give the bedding a little bit of a fresh reset. But while I'm doing that, I thought I would talk a little bit about the decision to go from full-time to part-time. Back a few years ago, I got my first van, Snowy, and that was because I moved to the Bay Area for work and I couldn't find a rental that was both a decent price and one that I liked. And I've been following the tiny house movement for several years at that point, and I decided I would pull the trigger and get a van built out and start living and working full-time from the van. But I realized with that I had made a lot of sacrifices, and at the time I wasn't willing to make. For instance, I was feeling very lonely, I was lacking community. I thought I also wanted to have a family, so I moved back into the city trying to date and meet someone and start that path. And I decided not to pursue full-time van life. Fast forward, I had a realization that I can't live a life without adventure. I was starting to feel that everyday life was feeling like the same. I was just starting to feel like life was losing its color a little bit. And I decided that maybe the right approach for me was to try to balance both having strong roots and a community at home with part-time travel. So I decided to get another van, which is this one, Stardust, and travel in this seasonally, which means 2 to 3 months, every few months, so maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I'm going to be traveling in the van and working and doing all of that, and then the rest of the time I'll be in the city and working from there as well. And I thought this would give me the best of both worlds and allow me to basically scratch that itch of adventure, but also have all the stability and comfort, routines, and rootedness that living in a established community will give you. There are a lot of videos out there about people leaving full-time van life, and I don't see a lot of videos where people talk about going part-time. A lot of times people just give up the full-time lifestyle, sell their van, and then they just settle into an abode somewhere. But I wanted to share this experience that I had because it's not an all or nothing lifestyle. You don't have to go full time all the time or nothing at all. There's a middle way, and the middle way is traveling seasonally. And the reason why I think this is so underrated is because there are so many people who cannot sustain this lifestyle because being fully nomadic on the road, living in a van, is an intense way of living. It requires constant vigilance. When you're living in a van, you're always thinking about not only your safety and your environment and what's going on around you, but you also have to be conscious of all the energy resource management you're dealing with, like your electricity, your freshwater reserves, your supplies. All of that is always constantly in the back of your mind. And then the fact that you have to constantly make decisions all day, every day. Where are you going to go next? Where are you going to sleep? What direction of travel do you want to take? All of that is extremely cognitively heavy. That style of travel does not work for me, and I'm okay with that. beautiful morning today. After a really tough winter travel season, this is like exactly what I needed. And yeah, just being able to sit in a forest with pine trees and the weather is nice. There's no snow, it's not rainy, there's no bugs out yet because it's just too early for that. It's perfect. Oh, Archie, you want to come outside? Yeah, you come out. Come here. Oh, let me take you down. Okay, there you go, buddy. The other thing I do have to say about traveling seasonally is you kind of feel like you're living two lives. Like you have your adventure life and then you have your life at home. And a lot of times I can't fully commit to a life back home because of my travels. For instance, I want to volunteer at the animal shelter, but they require year-long commitments. They don't want someone who's only going to be there for 2 months and then gone for 2 months or 3 months. And so it's difficult to find volunteering opportunities where they're flexible with me being out of town for a long time. And then also, I can't sign up for long-term memberships. For example, if I want to sign up for a class that is 2 or 3 months long, but the timing doesn't work out because the class either starts or ends when I want to go traveling, that wouldn't work out. So you get the point. Like, it can be logistically challenging. I don't want to say that part-time seasonal travel is the answer to everything. There are challenges that come with that and trade-offs that you're making. But overall, so far, where I'm at in my life at this stage, I think I want to keep going with this and kind of keep experimenting and travel in a way that honors my body and honors what I need, and in a way where we're making the best out of the climate around around Canada and US, and so that me and Archie are not suffering in the van. Hi, Archie. Oh, you're such a good boy. How did you like winter travel? Did you have a good time? Yeah, you really love the warm sun and rubbing in all the sand. You love that. Right, baby? And so this video marks the end of our winter van life season travel series officially. This will be the last video of this season, and we are already past the 3-month travel mark, which is the limit I gave myself for each travel season. I said, don't travel for more than 3 months because then it starts to become really challenging physically, mentally, all of that. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling ready to go home, but work is keeping me in California, and I don't know. I feel like I don't know what's gonna happen. So my professional life, my personal life might be taking kind of a wild ride this year. There is going to be some potential large changes up ahead depending on how everything goes there, and who knows, it could really change the trajectory of how I travel. But for now, I'm just feeling really stuck in California, and I have to figure out how to stay sane while traveling this way for longer than I originally wanted and for longer than I can honestly handle. So we'll see how that goes.